Well, good morning, everyone. It's so good to see you, and it's so nice to see that the sun has come out as well. And we have newlyweds who came from the East Coast here, Grant and Suzanne. Welcome back, and people who just came back from Hawaii trip and from SoCal. So it's nice to see you all this morning, especially since I saw many of you yesterday at our Mochizuki sweet uh, rice pounding event as well. And I'll probably see you on New Year's Day as well. So I think you're making Kami-sama very happy for coming so often and spending our time joyfully together. So as this year is coming to a close, we are here today to cleanse, to purify our hearts by letting go of our negative thoughts and emotions and express our gratitude to our divine parent of the universe to sustain our for the sustaining of our precious gift of life, and hopefully that this brings us joy and inner peace. Today, I'd like to talk about prayers, mainly prayers of apology. Have you thought about your prayers throughout this year of 2024? And have you thought about what kind of prayers that you have offered to our divine parent, and even what category the majority of those prayers were? Were they mainly prayers of appreciation? Or were they prayers of apology? Or were they prayers of request? Over the years of listening to people there at the Todosugi mediation place sharing what's in their hearts, it's quite common for people coming here to mainly pray for requests to be answered. And then when those requests are answered, they come back to give their thanks. And it's also not uncommon for the very seasoned individuals who come to this mediation place to either consciously or unconsciously train themselves to see something positive to be discovered in all of their experiences, which what we call blessings. Earlier this month, the four of us ministers of this church and our minister's assistant, Mr. A.G. Ayave. I want to keep calling him Miss. I think we all do want to call him Sensei. He's our House of Delegates representative, and we all attended the annual Konko Churches of North America district meetings in Southern California. So we had the choice of flying down, or we had the choice of driving there. And so we chose to drive down because we have this more valuable opportunity to bond together. And in addition, it saves a lot of money on airfare. So on our way back to San Francisco, after our second meeting, which is the Sunday's Ministry Board of Review, the topic of prayers came up among three of us in the van, those of us sitting in the front. And because our incoming KCNA chief at our Konko Churches of America, I gotta lay out the names of these acronyms. So the Konko Church of North America, the chief administrative minister, incoming, Reverend Roderick Hashimoto, who's also the head minister of the Kongo Church of Vancouver, whom we all know well at this church because he's a homegrown minister here. He had introduced for next year's 2025 Kongo Church of North America theme, prayers or praying. So the three of us, while we were driving back to San Francisco, we shared our experiences about the content of our prayers, tending to be prayers of expressing gratitude or seeking help, making requests. And we all realized that we didn't spend a lot of time expressing apologies. And interestingly, we all grew silent on the car ride home, all of us contemplating this discovery. If you were to think about the percentage of your time praying that you focus on apologies, what would that be? Would that be the majority of the time or just a fraction of the time? The next day, on Monday, as I sat there at the mediation desk, this thought came to me, and I texted it to the other two ministers involved in our van conversation the day before. Quote, I am at the church Okekai, the mediation place, and I had this realization that I wanted to share with you too regarding prayers to Kami-sama. Even though the number of apologies and time spent offering apologies may be less than expressing appreciation and requests, the depth, the weight, and the depth of humbleness of the apologies to Kami-sama with such self-reflection is very deep, and I believe more than makes up for the quantitatively lesser number or time spent on apologizing. It is a deep, sincere sharing of acknowledgement that I make mistakes and have limitations, which many people, including ourselves, don't often want to admit. But the founder apologized for himself and all people. The realization we may not even be aware how we are committing irreverences or mistakes, as basic as people thinking konjin was bad and evil versus benevolent and loving, unquote. Then I further added in a separate text, when apologizing, we are at our most vulnerable in opening our heart. So I'll repeat that. When apologizing, we are at our most vulnerable in opening our heart. So as we know, the founder's deep humbleness, sincerity, and conscientiousness, he was allowed to realize that that local deity, that local village evil deity, Konjin, is in fact our divine parent of the universe, Tenchi Kai no Kami, who we in this faith all know and we all have an individual relationship with and love and worship. Until now, if we haven't been expressing apologies much for our shortcomings and mistakes, let us take that opportunity today, even now at this year-end purification and appreciation ceremony, to do so. So let us search our hearts for situations in the past year that we may not have been our best selves, and we could have handled the situation in a better way that was nicer and kinder to others and to ourselves. Let us open our hearts and apologize to our Divine Parent humbly, deeply, sincerely, and conscientiously, cleansing our hearts for these negative thoughts and emotions, so that we can start the new year with fresh, renewed hearts of love, positivity, one step closer to being the best person we could and we want to be. So I'd like to end with these two teachings. One is, if you realize that you were wrong and apologize sincerely, Kami will only scold you and not punish you. Kami will forgive you immediately. We are always thought of as Kami's precious children, unquote. So just as apologizing is important, I believe that forgiving is just as important. One of the founder's direct disciples, Shirakami Shinichiro, shared this teaching in his book, A Guide to the Faith, in the third book of teachings, Gorikai 3. Konko Daijin said, when a person who is jealous and perverse towards you does something bad behind your back, you should not get upset or bear a grudge against him. You should forgive him for his wrongdoings. Forgiveness is essential to develop faith. So I've learned through many of my own life experiences that being forgiving actually frees us. It is an opportunity to realize the anger that is hurting our heart and maybe manifesting itself in a physical ailment. It may be hard to let go of that anger towards someone for something that we feel that they did to hurt us, but it is actually the healthy thing to do for ourselves, to let go of negative thoughts and emotions. If we don't want to do it for the other person, at least let us do it for ourselves, for our own well-being, to heal and to be healthy physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So let's take the time now to practice saying, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Okay? And I forgive you.
I forgive you.
Doesn't that feel good? Doesn't that feel good? So thank you, and I'll see you in the new year this Wednesday. Again, when we'll welcome our new head minister, our seventh head minister of the Konko Church of San Francisco, Reverend Rodney Yano. And I'm so grateful to have been allowed to serve here for the 16 years as head minister in this sacred worship and mediation hall in San Francisco, my hometown. Thank you.